Look at your life for a moment. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you have a lot of anxiety, stress? Do you feel like things aren't working the way that you'd like them to work? And have you ever wondered why and what that is about? Now, there are lots of aspects to dive into that of like why things aren't going the way you want them to go. But in this video, I'm going to talk about some things that you can actually use to improve your life. Some friends that you can bring in that you may not be aware of that are even friends. Aloha, my friends. My name is Garth Wolfs, if we're just meeting. And today we're going to talk about how there are spirits that we're not even aware of sometimes. Now, part of this and going into this is that first off, if all things are vibrating at all times, then all things have a consciousness as well. We just may not be able to perceive of that consciousness. Now, that's a teaching from Nikola Tesla, who talks about that all things are vibrating. And it's something that's been repeated by a lot of different teachers over time, over the years, about how all things are vibrating. But what does that actually mean? And so I have a video about vibrations and frequencies that you can watch on my channel, and that go deeper into what vibrations are. But part of that is understanding that just because something looks solid, it's actually vibrating. Quantum physics has shown us that things are vibrating at a very either extremely high frequency and a high rate that we can see them. Like light, for example, like sunlight that comes through, or light from cameras, or even like the lights that are hitting my face right now. They're vibrating, and they're vibrating at such a high rate that we can't quite touch them. But there are also things that are still vibrating at such a slow rate that we can touch them, like walls and doors, and even ourselves sometimes are vibrating at a certain rate. But see, if all things have consciousness, then do they have a spirit too? Now, that's a belief within animism and shamanism, which is like one of my main core belief systems that I adopt and that I believe in, is that all things are actually alive. So plants have a spirit to them. Rocks have a spirit to them. Animals have a spirit to them. Humans have a spirit to them. And none of us are above anything. We're not above the plant kingdom or the rock kingdom, or they're not above us, or we're not above the plants. Like, we're all equal to the animals and so forth. It's just sometimes we're perceiving of the world in a different way. We're experiencing things in a different way. We have different purposes and intentions. Our intentions is also a vibration that exists within us. So the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we interact in the world, the way that we talk to others is part of our intention. And intentions can be just, short version of that would be what you're intending to go do. Or as an example, like my intention behind this video is to give you some knowledge and also raise your awareness to things around you in the world. And maybe that you can then connect with some of these plant spirits or rock spirits. Now, I say rock spirits because I'm also referring to crystals and mountains and stones and so forth around the world, as well as the ground you walk on has a spirit to it. The earth has a spirit to it. You have a spirit to you, and as a human being, a lot of us, we have a spirit body, an emotional body, a mental body, a physical body, and then we also have aspects within ourselves that dictate different parts of us. And we do have a divine masculine within us and a divine feminine within us, as well as the divine child within us. And those are some of the examples. But then we're also part of the collective consciousness. We're connected to other people and other beings. How we show up ripples into the world and makes a difference in the world. And that's how we change the collective consciousness. That's how we make a difference as a world based on how we each individually choose to show up. And so sometimes when people talk about plant spirits or crystal spirits, there is this thing that people do with them that they sometimes view them as, oh, well, because I've got my crystals on, I'm protected, or because I'm walking around with rose quartz, I have this. And there's this difference between understanding that like they are having their own spirit and their own vibration, but they are here to assist us. They are not something that is above us. They are equal with us. And so when people like lean so much onto crystals, or they're like, well, I drank some blue lotus this morning, or, I had some special herbal tea and I put some dandelions in it. I drank that, and so now I feel this way and nothing can touch me. there's a little bit of giving our power away to an external factor. And not understanding that we are one and the same together, but also it's the difference of codependence or depending on something else to make us happy versus being a team leader of that thing. Similar to like when people are doom scrolling on their phone or drinking alcohol or smoking marijuana. There's nothing wrong with any of those, scrolling on your phone, drinking alcohol, or smoking marijuana. It's just, what's your intention behind it? Are you doing it to escape the current moment? Are you doing it to feel better? Are you doing it to do a meditation? Are you doing it to relax yourself? There's nothing wrong, just what's the intention behind it? And so that's the vibration into it. But sometimes people can become dependent on those things. When you're doom scrolling on the phone and you're looking for a quick dopamine hit, to feel better or to have a quick laugh, is that serving or not serving? When you have a drink with a group of friends, is that serving or not serving? So those are the questions to ask. But what sometimes people do with plants and crystals and other things too in the spiritual world is that they lean on them and they become dependent on them and they expect them to make their life better versus doing the work themselves. And so that's what I mean by dependence versus team leader. Realizing that if you work with crystals, if you work with plants, whatever substances you're taking into yourself, even the food you eat, the air you breathe, you're the team leader of them. They're not leading you, you're the team leader of them. So if you take something into you that doesn't serve you, that isn't working for you, bad decision, team leader. But at the same time, maybe it's not a bad decision. It's a lesson to be learned. In this life, you either win or you learn. And usually it's both. But sometimes it's just a lesson. And failure happens. Failure is also a lesson. So it can be the example of if you eat some food that doesn't make you feel that great, maybe don't go back to that restaurant. Or maybe look at, was that undercooked? Or maybe I'm just not supposed to have this kind of food in my diet anymore. Maybe it just doesn't serve me. Using myself as an example, I was vegetarian for about 4 to almost 5 years, and I'm now a conscious eater. I'm very conscious about what I eat, but when I stepped away from being a vegetarian, I did go back to eating red meat. I went back to eating meat, period, in general. But I noticed that red meat, like cow and pig and so forth, and lamb and whatnot, a lot of red meat would actually make me sick and would make my intestines have a hard time with them. And I would have this negative reaction to it. So I cut red meat out of my diet and realized I felt a lot better. And so having like fish or chicken has made me feel a lot better, whereas I still eat other things. But then I noticed if I had game meat, like bison or elk or venison, which is technically red meat, but it's game meat, it's not going through some of the same factory processes, I feel great. I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. So there's some intentions going on there behind the things I was eating that were affecting me. And me being the team leader of my body, of my life, of my own vibration is what serves me. What serves me is if I'm going to have red meat, it's got to be bison or elk, And if I'm going to have white meat of some kind, I prefer fish over chicken. Chicken's okay, but fish seems to bring me into a better state of being. Also, that means I still partake of vegetables and fruits and things that make me feel good inside. Now, this is an example of that, but part of that too is that if I go get a bunch of crystals and I walk around with these crystals, I don't expect the crystals to make my life better. I expect them to assist my vibration, to assist me in feeling better, to do some cool, amazing vibrational things, but I'm not leaning on them to change my life. I still have to change my life. I still have to do the things that are inside of that. And this is something I've done with plants, is something called master plant dietas. And that's a video on this channel you can watch about what a master plant dieta is. And I go into that. And I'll link it up at the end of the video here for you. But part of that too is that when you do that, you're pulling apart so much of yourself and so many other stimuluses that you can work with an individual plant, and then that plant becomes an ally for life. That becomes an ally you can call on and can assist you and work with you. And generally, a lot of plants, and including like crystals and other things that are out there, and rocks and mountains and so forth, they have a personality. They have a vibration. And so like with the plants specifically, whatever a plant is good for that is its vibration and personality. So something like blue lotus, which is an amazing herb out there that helps with sleep, like getting good restful sleep, helps with lucid dreaming, helps with the throat chakra being more creative, more expressive, speaking forth of yourself. It increases the intuition of yourself, as well as relaxes anxiety and stress out of there. That's its vibration, but that's also its personality that it has within it. And so there are so many things that have vibrations in them. That's just an example of it. But so whatever we take into us changes our vibration, because then we become a team with it. So whatever you ate today is part of who you are. Whatever you've taken into you substance wise or supplement wise is also a part of you. Now you as yourself are your name and you are that vibration. But being aware of how things affect you is there, and taking full responsibility for that you are the team leader, you are the captain of your life. So if you are feeling stuck in life, or anxiety and stressed, or overwhelmed, or down and depressed in life, look at the things you're taking into yourself. Look at what kind of plants you're taking into yourself. Look at your environment. Are you spending time in nature? What kind of food are you eating? Do you work with crystals? Do you believe in crystals? Regardless of whether you do or don't, doesn't matter. Just it's something there. Is something serving or not serving? Those are things that you can ask yourself. If you really want to go deeper on this and dive into having a full shift so you can actually shift your life and then begin to thrive in life, then you can click the link down below and jump on a call with me, and you can come into coaching with me, where I can provide coaching with you that we can go deeper with. That's you come into the group coaching or you come into one-on-one coaching. Those are both things that can help you truly shift your life so that you can thrive in life. And then you can look at, what does serve, what doesn't serve, and you have an assistance of someone from an outside perspective that can help you do better in life. So stop settling, start thriving. Peace, love, namaste. Here's that video I was talking about.